Hello everybody. You probably don't know this, but we have a book club this summer.
So, the first book we've chosen is Divergent by Veronica Roth. And fortunately, there are some discussion questions at the end of the book, and we've chosen to answer just a few.
Yeah.
And actually, since our book club has a third member, which can't be here today, we encourage you to comment in the comments, so you can be part of our discussion.
Get confused. First question. How does the idea of faction before blood come into play throughout the book? Do you think this idea has a place in today's society, or is it contrary to what most people believe? In our society, what ideas and beliefs are people loyal to in the way Triss's society is loyal to the concept of the factions? As I said, it's a really long question. But basically, the thing is, faction before blood, is that possible today, or what does it?
I think it's very much possible, because there's so many people who kind of get estranged from their family and just decide to live with their friends. I don't think family has a high value nowadays, even though it's a sad thing, but most people don't really care about their households, do they?
That's true, yeah. And I think the people who are our dearest and who we love the most are people who have similar interests somehow.
Yeah.
So you choose your friends a lot of the time
your
alone.
friends, but
you choose your friends
family
according to, I don't know, things that you like movies, series, if you're really superficial, and that's more like the faction type, not the blood type, because, well, my brothers have different interests sometimes, so I really, I could imagine that this happens.
Yeah, because like in former times people were stuck in a certain place with their family, so they had to share values and interests.
Yeah.
And nowadays, like, you can go to the United States or something, and your family won't be there, but you create your own new family with it's really good. What else?
But I also think that it's not that extreme today, because it's not like if you like this and your family doesn't, then you can like your family. It's really extreme in a book that you have to like your faction, you can't, I don't know, have some connection still to your family and still like them because they're probably a different faction. So I don't think it's that radical, and it's probably not gonna be like that for the next few decades. But I think that both families and friends are important, but yeah, faction before blood thing, there's kind of a point to it.
I think in our society there's just no one who tells you that you can't see them.
Yeah.
A lot of people choose not to see them.
Yeah, that's true, yeah. But if you choose, it's okay.
Yeah. So what do
we value?
I have to be a bit pessimistic here, but I don't think we really value anything anymore apart from money, really.
Yeah, money is
Because
is a lot of,
it's all about money and acquiring things, but not.
And even if we, even if we value things like knowledge, it's just in order to get more money for most of the people.
Exactly.
I mean, not everybody's like this. I hope you're not like this, because I really like knowing things just for the sake of knowing them. But I think, money is probably one of the most important factors nowadays, sadly.
Do you agree with her father's statement that valuing knowledge above all else results in lust for power, and that leads men into dark and empty places? Why or why not? I mean, I can see the point why he chose abnegation members to form government, but I think you should have someone to control them.
Yeah.
Like, you should have the erudite, or probably erudite or candor to supervise. And
I agree. Candor would be really good, because just because you have abnegation doesn't mean you really always act selfless, because there's this test once, and then you decide, and then you have some kind of initiation process, but from then on you can basically do what you want.
Yeah, but even if you're selfless, doesn't mean that you're a good leader.
Yeah.
Because you have to be smart, you have to
That's true.
be honest, and you have to know certain things.
It's not fair. I think that one person, at least one person of every faction should be in the government so that every kind of thinking is somehow in there.
Everyone should be represented.
Yeah.
Yeah. So her father's statement. Well, I don't think that just because you want to know things doesn't mean you want to
power.
You want power, no.
Because valuing knowledge is not the same as valuing power.
No, not at all.
I think that maybe more the dauntless value power, because everybody wants to be kind of the strongest, the bravest, the one with the least fears. I don't think it's just connected with knowledge.
No. Because if you want to know things, you just want to understand the world around you. It doesn't have anything to do with power.
Next one. 8, wasn't it? Trish says about candor. It must require bravery to be honest all the time. Do you agree? Which do you think is a braver faction, dauntless or candor? Would you like to live in a society like candor, where everyone tells the truth no matter how hard it is to hear?
As candor? Yes, I do think it requires bravery to be honest all the time, because you hurt people and you make enemies basically by being honest.
Yeah, I would be so scared if I was honest all the time, of people just wanting revenge and just wanting to kill me.
Yeah, and I think if you're overly honest, you probably end up being alone because you won't have any friends left. I think it's pretty impossible to be always like super honest.
That's true.
Because there's a huge difference between lying and not saying what you think. Because you can just not say things. Because I don't lie, but sometimes I just don't say anything.
Yeah.
But that's kind of not being truthful too. So
yeah, it definitely requires bravery. Bravery. I think we agree on that.
So who's braver, dauntless or candor?
Well, I still think the candor, they have to live with this constant fear that somebody didn't like what they said and somehow wants to revenge that. The dauntless, they can just, I don't know, they fight for fun and they do all this stuff for fun, not because they're forced to be brave. And the candor, they just don't have any choice.
Do you think there's a difference between being fearless and being brave?
Yeah.
But what's the difference? Because I think
it's being brave is really acting on it, doing something that's against your fears, and being fearless. You can be fearless without being in danger or something.
Yeah.
If you want to be brave, you really have to do something. If you want to be fearless, you don't have to do anything. Before you have to work on your fears so you can overcome them, but once you're fearless, you don't have to act in it, while you have to act on something to be brave. So I think, maybe that's a good point. So maybe I would say the dauntless are fearless and the candor are brave.
I agree.
So now, since you were tested as a candor, how do you think about? Do you think you could do that? Live with just being honest all the time?
I don't know. It's quite interesting because when I did my aptitude test, I actually lied. I chose to lie. And it still ended up being candid.
Really?
So I didn't know if he had the same questions, but I had a question where there was this librarian or something and a book. And it was you're gonna be hurt or something. Do you admit that you've read the book or haven't you? And I was like, no. But maybe if you had chosen that you admit to reading it, maybe that's dauntless, because you wouldn't be afraid of the consequences. But candor is allowed to be afraid.
Yeah, but candor is not allowed to lie.
I know.
So that's
weird.
why I was
That you get
surprised.
kind of- I was surprised.
But you
because
still
I
took
did lie.
it. You still said that's accurate for you.
Yeah, it is. It is.
Isn't it?
Because
I mean, internet tests. Not everything that's online is
no,
true.
I do think it's true because while I was reading the book, I was like, oh my god, I don't know who I am. It's either kind of erudite or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce it. Yeah, I think I am pretty honest, like all the time. I find it really hard to lie. Like I can't do it because I usually choose to be like brutally honest and then I'm like, oh my god, what did I say? It must be so weird. Or like if I don't feel confident enough to be honest, I'm just silent. I just sit there and I'm like keep my thoughts to myself. So that's why I don't read to strangers.
I lie so much about my emotions. Like I know when I'm supposed to be sad, for example, and then I act sad, although I'm not sad because I know I have to be sad.
Yeah, but then
for example,
I
there's a
don't act at
catastrophe.
all. Yeah, I just don't do anything at all. It's my
But what if somebody
silent.
asks you about your feelings about this? What do you say? You can say, well, I feel nothing.
Well,
50 people died.
I
Who
just don't
cares?
say anything.
Yeah,
I
but if
usually
somebody
don't.
asks you,
What I feel like.
yeah. Oh my god, how do you feel about 50 people being killed
Well,
in
then I usually ask
crash?
a question like in return and just don't answer.
Nobody caught you while you're doing
No.
that? That's interesting.
Like when somebody asks me a question I can't answer because I'd have to lie. I just ask another question.
So it's like you can't physically lie.
I can't lie. I
That's interesting.
totally try to distract the other
So
person.
you really are a true candor then.
I think so.
Wow. That's interesting.
Like
yeah.
even if someone says like, do you like, I don't know, my new hair? And I'd be like, well, you did look good before. I don't know. No, I can't lie.
It's so fascinating that nobody actually called you out on that and said, oh, what is it with you not answering questions?
Well, usually people don't ask me that many
Aw,
questions.
it's kind of sad.
Well, no, but nobody's like, how are you feeling?
Well, you don't have to.
What
I lie so often about that.
I mean, if someone asked me like, how are you, but just small talk kind of, well, I guess I say okay without thinking about it, but it's not lying because I'm not thinking about it. It's like just like being silent, but I can't be like, what do you want? And then sometimes I try to answer it, but then I'm like, no, I can't be bothered to. Like,
Okay.
I don't really care about you, so I'm not gonna answer properly. So,
Yeah, so you
I
do
guess.
sometimes. I mean,
I
yeah,
don't
you
think that's
withhold the
lying.
truth.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't know. I don't really know myself that well too.
I think you're really perfect for candor. So we're back. We have a different setting now.
Yeah, because I think you might be able to hear. Well, yeah. So I think we are on to the last question. Yeah. So Drew's mom says human beings as a whole cannot be good for long before the bad creeps back in and poisons us again. Do you agree or disagree, and why?
Well, I think it's kind of from the history of humanity so far. This was always proven right. It wasn't. We could never keep peace. We always had wars. So I don't have any argument or any evidence that proves otherwise.
I guess people just get used to a certain situation and then someone is like is not content with it anymore and just decides to do something and tries to change something, and in the course of the action he becomes evil and
Yeah, I also think that we're never satisfied.
No, never.
Humanity, like there's always something that's not good and we want it differently, and so we always have to fight. It's so weird, but
I guess we're just all too different. Like if everybody was exactly the same, it would probably be less of a problem.
Yeah, probably, but what would you do all day? Because there's no point in finding true love because everybody's the same. There's no point in
not
getting a different education.
not this kind of saying,
Okay.
but like there's so many different cultures and.
Okay. So you mean just the same values, basically?
Yeah. So it's basically like the factions because they all have the same value. With an affection, like you will probably not have that many troubles. I think. I mean, maybe Dauntless is an exception because they're kind of different.
Yeah.
But like Abnegation, I think they were pretty peaceful at Canada.
But we do agree that something in us humans seems to be evil, or something is there that makes at least some of us act evil.
Yeah, I don't really know what's the cause for evil. Like, what do evil people want to achieve that makes me evil? Is it always power?
I think there's just some kind of thing that they want to have, and they realize if they're wanting to achieve it the evil way, it goes much faster.
Yeah,
probably.
I guess the problem is that every single one of us just wants to be special and wants to achieve something, and the easiest way to do is by being mean to others and kill others. Because then it's just you're special because you're the only one alive. Now it seems because ever since we existed, we had to fight and like kill other things to stay alive and to evolve and stuff. So it's in ourselves the will to fight, or I don't know.
That's the 4 questions that we chose. Do you want to add anything else?
No, I'm good.
And we know she is because
Yeah.
she's a candor.
Yeah.
Bye guys.
Bye.